Fabulous.
Wawa.
Is that your opening?
Yeah, Wawa.
That's your opening. Our first episode of a podcast, and that's how you're gonna open.
We need a catchy theme.
We do. We'll come up with a catchphrase in episode 2. That's our homework.
That's very optimistic.
If there is an episode 2.
That's exactly. It's
Yeah.
optimistic.
I am up to. Well, now I'm not because I said if.
No, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. No, it's gonna happen.
I love talking.
I love talking too. I can never shut up, which is why I originally wanted the name of this podcast to be several different things. We had so many ideas and they're all taken. Every asshole out there has a fucking podcast, and now we're those assholes.
Now it is my time to be the asshole.
It is my turn to be the asshole.
Welcome to Puzzle to Pieces.
Puzzle Pieces. As you can see, if you're watching through YouTube, we've got a cute little logo that I whipped out of my ass in like 10 minutes.
That's what your college was for.
Sure.
It was the graphic designing.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll say that's what they taught me.
That's exactly what they taught
That is
you.
not what they taught me. They taught me how to paint and color theory.
Color theory.
Fucking color theory. It's like, yes, I know red and blue make purple.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I'm very sure about that.
Are you really sure about that?
Speaking of purple, this is off topic for our topic for today. Well, not really. Man Behind the Slaughter, Five Nights at Freddy's. The Ruin DLC just came out. The movie trailer's out.
Cries in special interest.
Yeah, we sure do love our Five Nights at Freddy's. We sure do.
In a segue too into today's topic, we are talking about book series.
We are talking about book series. I figured we'd go on some tangents about some crazy books we've read or our favorite books or whatever. So yeah, the theory for today is books. And if I sound a little funny, it's because I'm trying not to yell, because otherwise if I yell, the microphone echoes and it's really funny. So I'm going to be talking as if this is an ASMR.
No, I hate it. I hate it.
You can't watch this episode back. Alright, yeah, books. Right now, gosh, books I'm reading right now. I don't even want to tell people. I'm so embarrassed.
You shouldn't be
I've
embarrassed.
gone back to the Warrior series. Many of you sure do know Warriors. The warrior cats in the woods fighting it out, making babies, eating food, killing each other.
So is it warriors?
It's warriors.
It's not warrior
It's not warrior cats.
Okay.
But no one knows. If you just say, hey, I'm reading the Warriors book series, no one fucking knows what you're talking about. So you gotta add the cats in there.
Got it.
Warrior cats. No, it is just called Aaron Hunter's Warriors. Aaron Hunter is also not a real person.
I was gonna say, isn't Aaron Hunter like
Aaron Hunter's
three
like
raccoons in a trench coat?
Yeah, 3 raccoons in a trench coat. And none of those raccoons know how to get their story straight. There's a lot of accidental incest, characters that disappear.
Mood.
Yeah, it was really, once it started getting crazy, it was really poorly planned. If you would like to read the series, I recommend, I think it's called The Prophecy Begins. It's like the first 6 books. That's all you need. It's really good. I think the second series was okay, but anything beyond that, like, it just goes downhill. I really tried to read those books. I really did. But it really didn't go anywhere in my favor.
You know, Warriors has a, like, obviously not by the same people, but, like, offshoots of other people. Like, oh, but what if they were dogs? Like, because I was looking...
Yeah, they've got the Seekers. That's the only one I remember, Seekers.
I happened, because when I was like, oh, I'm going to read the series, and I realized there was, like, a bajillion books, and I was like, oh, I don't think I could financially recover from this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the text you can get online nowadays because people pirate everything.
Yeah, but I really love the physical...
Yeah, you do, because it's a physical object, and brain goes, this is mine.
Exactly.
Hoarding brain goes, physical.
Looks at the Percy Jackson books.
Oh my god. That's another one. I never got into Percy Jackson.
Oh,
I
it's
never
so
got
good.
into Harry Potter when it was popular either.
That's so good, too.
I hated Hunger Games.
I never read Hunger Games, but
I started trying to read the book and I just hated it. I know everyone really loved it, but I was like, nah.
Hey, we all have... Oh, pardon me. We all have series of whatever that everybody liked, but we just couldn't.
No, absolutely. Everybody did. I remember... I do not remember the name of this book, but it's like this family gets in a car accident. And they all die except, like, the older sister.
Oh.
The older sister's back on Earth, and it's like the little sister. Like, they're in quote-unquote heaven.
Huh.
I think even her dog died. It was really nuts. but she could like go to these booths and like watch her sister. It was really weird. I never finished it. Radiance? Something like that. I don't even remember.
Oh my
Some
god.
crazy literature you've read.
Okay, so like I won't say it's crazy, but it was just pretty off the wall and not well done. This was way back in the day, and I went to the local library and there was a book called Halo, and I was like, Halo, hey! And so I started reading the back, and it was about angels coming to Earth or something. You can look it up on Goodreads. It's actually fucking terrible. So I read the book, and there was like maybe
Who the hell goes to the library anymore? I'm just saying. I'd love to go to the library, but like we live in the middle of nowhere. I think we've got like a library of 2 books. There's nothing in there.
But the book was so incredibly poorly written. I'm surprised I finished it, and the only reason that I finished the book was because at the time an ex-friend of mine was in the hospital, and I was staying with them in ER, so I finished the book, and it was just, gosh, excuse me. It was just horrendous. It was the stupidest book. Well, one of the stupidest books I've ever read.
I, at a Goodwill, bought a couple of those cheesy romance novels where it's like Alejandro, the man on a white horse and his flowing top. I never read them, but I bought them because I was like, this has to be stupid.
Oh my gosh.
There's just so many of them. Like I feel like every white woman who drinks like wine is like, yes, I'm an author, and she's written one of those books.
Yeah, and a lot of...
I'm a published author, and it's like on Amazon Publish books.
Yeah, it was not, I don't want to say like recently, but like 4 or 5 years back that I realized that anybody could technically publish a book, because there has been some that I've listened to documentaries on that, like, if they were to be sent in like to a actual publisher instead of like a self-published place,
no,
there's no way.
There's no way. It's so easy to publish. I always wanted to write a book, and actually my ex really pressured me into trying to write a book. He wanted to write a book with me, which was really cute at the time, but he was also writing his own book, and I never read that book. I wanted him to read it to me, and he wouldn't read me his own book, so I never read it.
I would read you a book.
I won't say what it's called just in case it ever gets published, and he's like, I almost said J.K. Rowling, but J.K. Rowling doesn't exist. Hatsune Miku wrote Harry Potter.
I love Hatsune Miku.
Hatsune Miku, I can't believe wrote Harry Potter.
Right.
Amazing.
But not the racist parts.
But not the racist parts, or the sexist parts.
Or like the
bad stuff.
Yeah, Hatsune Miku can do nothing wrong.
Hatsune Miku's never did anything wrong.
Not in her entire life.
Never. Gosh, what other books have I read? Oh, I remember I discovered the LGBTQ plus section in our school library. Yes, we had one. It was not very good, as is most LGBTQ quote-unquote fiction. I say quote-unquote LGBTQ is because no matter where I go, all I can find is it's very fetishy lesbians. Like, it's fetish, like somebody with a fetish wrote the book, and it's always lesbians. I'm like, maybe I want to read about a nice, like, 2 gay dudes. But that's not appealing to society, or most of society.
Oh gosh.
So that's a whole nother thing. I get mad every time I look at that. But no, the book I was originally talking about, I don't remember what it was. It was some dude, and he met this lesbian, and they were like friends, and she's like, don't fall in love with me. And he's like, I won't. And then he falls in love with the lesbian, and she's like, I'm not going to fall for you because I'm a lesbian. And that was the end of the book.
Oh, I was waiting for it to be like the heteronormative.
No, it basically was, he expected her to fall in love back. And to fall, like, out of love with women. And
Yikes.
She's like, nope.
Good. I'm glad.
I was great. It was the best book I've ever read. I remember it just ended like that. And I'm like, wow. Good for her.
Oh my gosh. I read a book that unfortunately kind of went in the not disgusting, but like yucky type of, like, I think it was called Guitar Girl. And it was about a young lady who wanted to be, like, in a band. I don't remember the whole thing because I was in high school at the time. But to make a long story short, all the boys in this band that she somehow joined for whatever reasoning was like, oh, yeah, she's a virgin, and one of us is going to take her virginity, and we're going to get bad about it. And then, like, that was obviously a shit part, but the one that really stuck out to me made me actually physically throw the book away. was that her and I guess probably the main dude, because that makes a lot of sense, end up getting together romantically and sexually, and during their first sexual experience, she's like, "Oh, this now I understand why a man and a woman should be together." Like it was very like
just propaganda.
yeah, it was
it's just
very
heterosexual propaganda.
And I was like, nope,
No.
none of this. No.
I remember another book. Oh, I used to be way into Goosebumps. Did you ever read Goosebumps?
I never was a Goosebumps kid.
Everybody read Goosebumps. Well, I remember when I matured, and I say that with quotes because I was still like 12. I really got into the R.L. Stine series, which was like more adult Goosebumps.
Goosebumps, but with gore.
Yeah, no, there was one where like this girl accidentally killed this guy. I don't know. I could be getting this totally wrong. All I remember is his name was Dex, and I fucking love that name. I think it's short for Dexter, but whatever. His name was Dex, something like that. And he comes back, and he's like, "I wasn't really dead." She's like, "Oh, cool, okay." And then she starts to realize he's a zombie.
Oh.
And then I think it like flipped on you, and she was really dead. I don't even remember. It was nuts.
I also read a book kind of like that. It was like, I love young adult books because it's just, I enjoy it because like romance is never really the focus, and I like that shit. So I like it when it's not the main focus because I don't give a shit about your romance. I want some good stuff. Anyways.
Yeah. I want some.
You want
good.
So like the books that I would read always had something to do with fantasy, or it had something. I was always I never was a science fiction kid. Always liked fantasy. So I picked up the Cirque du Freak series.
Oh boy.
Oh, that changed my life so positively.
Good shit. You used to read it with your mom, didn't you?
Yeah, and I haven't read it's not prologue. It's the prequel. I mean, I've read some books, but I'm like, once this is done, this is the end of the incomplete series. There's nothing.
No spin-off, no nothing.
No nothing. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for that.
It'll come. The day will come.
Yeah.
We will root for you.
Ugh.
So this is a really funny one. Books you were read to you as a kid. You didn't have that, did you?
No.
Oh, baby.
My dad
so
read
sorry.
to me one time.
My mom read to me all the time, but at one point she was like wanted something consistent, so she was reading to us the children's Bible. That didn't go very far, but I remember her reading a couple stories from it. We were never a very religious family. I went to church a couple of times, and then I got really into it. And then my dad bullied me out of being a Christian, so thank you, Dad.
I mean,
when I say bullied, I mean I heard him teasing about it behind my back at one point, and it just made me sad, so I stopped. But I'm kind of glad because the organized religion. We won't get into organized religion. We won't.
I think it's really neat that they have like the children's Bible, and then
it was like instead of the violent shit, it was like, and God turned her into marshmallows or something. Like, it was nuts. I don't know Bible stories or what one that was. I just remember something like that. It was
hey, at least it was like the positive stuff. I'm totally down for positive.
No, totally. It was all good stuff. Yeah.
Right. And another young whatever book that I read. The whole like. Actually, you're dead, but you're not. It was called Surfing Corpse.
Surfing Corpse?
Yeah, and it was like...
Just launched... Hello. Just launched my microphone at myself.
I remember there was a character named Kit, because I ended up making an OC later for Death Note. Don't worry. No, it wasn't Death Note. Never mind.
God, we're going to have to do an episode about that. OCs we have.
Oh, God.
I have so many OCs. I have a folder on my iPad.
But the book, like, it was, unfortunately, they only had one in the entire series that they had at the library, so that was the only one I got to read. And I kind of remember it, kind of not. I just remember that I thought it was really neat.
I wouldn't believe the amount of dogs in here right now.
Oh, dogs.
I can't even see them all. They're buried in the bed. Anyways, continue.
You know, it's very interesting that you're like, yeah, I didn't read a lot when I was a kid. That's all I did was read.
I did read a lot as a kid. I just don't read anymore. Well, I'm trying to change that.
Me too.
I stopped reading about high school when they really were like, you're reading this as homework. And then reading just wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah, I don't like.
It ruined me, which is really sad because I skimmed Lord of the Flies, The Outsiders, and Of Mice and Men, and I loved all three of what I read. So I actually picked. I think Of Mice and Men is just so short. I don't think it's an actual book. Isn't it like a short story? I don't fucking know.
I'm not sure.
Good shit. Good book. Story, whatever. Read it. I remember maybe my school was just too poor because we read them on like no. I say too poor. We didn't have the physical books. We read them on tablets.
We're too poor to have the physical books.
We're too
Here's the
poor to
fucking
have the physical
tablets.
book. Here's an iPad, kids.
Oh my
It was awful. But no, I actually really enjoyed those stories, and I had a bookstore recently. I picked up The Outsiders and Lord of the Flies, so I am excited to get to reading those. Yeah?
I picked up the FNAF books.
You did? Oh, you want to talk about the FNAF books?
No, I'm just saying that's why I picked. You're like, I picked up all this like great literature, you know, like from the greats, and I'm like, oh, Fred Fazbear, go
Pretty-
goopy goo.
Pretty Fazbear.
Pretty Fazbear.
Pretty. No, the FNAF books, well, the first three are pretty good. And that is The Silver Eyes, The Twisted Ones, and
The Fourth Closet.
The Fourth Closet. I read the first one, most of it. I actually had to stop. It was what ended my first FNAF phase, is because it got so bad. I was so invested that I was literally just eat, sleep, drink FNAF. But then I was starting to have nightmares,
Oh no.
and it just ruined it for me for a little bit. I'm totally fine now. I love the series, and we actually did get the FNAF books, and we were going to be reading. I will at least stand by on the first three. I don't want to know what goes on in the fucking MatPat one. Spoilers. No, I'm not even going to talk about that. I don't want that in our podcast. I want our podcast to be clean.
As we talk about some terrible shit already. I get it though. Like I know.
I don't want people to have to suffer what I've suffered, though most of you probably know what I'm talking about.
I
Unfortunately.
know that the book series gets kind of wild and funky with the short stories, but I'm okay with that because it's for funsies. I know
It's
that I'm
for
not going to get a
funsies.
serious story after the first, and I'm okay with that as long as I know it going in. You know, if I'm blindsided and I'm like, yeah, and I'm gonna find out all this cool shit, and then it's just like,
No, and you can't really rely on the books for lore either, like bits and pieces. But what bits and like, where's my list? Where's my canon event list of what's canon and what's not? Like, I don't want to have to sit down and figure that out. That's what. Nah, we don't like MatPat anymore. I was gonna say that's what MatPat.
we don't like Matt Pat anymore.
We don't. He did a thing. I don't remember the drama.
It's
It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, life, man.
Life, man.
there's
I'm trying to figure out how to pay my own phone service. So you really think I'm keeping up with internet drama?
Me.
you do. It's all you listen to is internet drama while you're cleaning.
Yeah, it's good shit. I used to. Okay, listen. My mom used to watch daytime TV, which was the Maury Show, and things like that. Sorry, I'm getting off topic for a second.
No, you're fine.
So daytime drama is built into me as a '90s child.
It's bad as a 90s
So like,
child.
I just put on something, and I'm like, "What's going on?"
What are the furries up to?
A lot.
There goes your mic stand.
Goodbye, friend.
Hold on. Let it go. Actually, I'm scared it's gonna rip my desk. Okay, yeah, don't do that. There we go.
Back on the topic of books.
Back on top of the bed. Anyways, books. Do people still go to libraries?
I sure hope so.
I hope so. That was nice. I would more, but it's a whole thing. It's like I gotta put clothes on, and then I gotta like put my social mask on, and I gotta like drive to the library. It was different when you were a kid and your mom was like, "We're going to the library." It was a treat. Now it's a chore.
It's like I like the library, and I like the obviously free books, my dude. You know, but it's that I prefer to own my books.
I prefer to own my books. I mean, libraries are awesome for people who use them, but I definitely prefer to own my books. Because what if I want to draw my little warrior cat OC in there?
Oh God. Or, you know, with me, I have to be in the right headspace to read. And as a child,
It was an escape.
Yeah, it was an escape.
It was totally an escape. If you haven't been there, man, you had to have been there.
Yeah, like, because...
If you haven't, you just won't understand.
But now that I'm older and not medicated, and, like, if I was medicated for my ADHD, I could read, but I have to have, like, a certain everything. It has to be a certain lighting.
Right,
it has to be
the
certain...
stars got to align.
Yeah,
Mercury has to be in Gatorade.
If somebody is too loud, it'll completely throw me out. Like,
yeah, I just listen to, like like music, like I can't have lyrics. If
Yeah,
I'm
I gotta
reading.
do.
It's
just...
gotta. I used to listen to dubstep. I remember that was fun. I
While
listened
reading?
to Monster Cat while I'd read.
That's intense.
It is intense.
I would
I'm
listen
sitting
to
there
like
jamming and
right.
yeah.
I would listen to like soft classical music because it's something I can tune out and in at the same time. It's like gives your brain.
I can't listen to classical music anymore. It makes me think of Hobby Lobby.
Oof.
I'm not gonna go into that.
Oof. My
I'm not gonna go into that. Anyways, I'm no longer welcome at any Hobby Lobby in the United States.
I mean,
Completely their fault, by the way, but I'm not gonna go into that. My almost misdemeanor for nothing. Great. Now I have to tell the story. Great. Completely off topic, but whatever. Classical music, books. I was at a Hobby Lobby and I actually asked an employee. I was like, "Hey, can I like pick up the leaves that have fallen in the floral department? You know, I mean, they just sweep them up and throw them away." So they're like, "Yeah, sure, that's totally fine." So I think they saw me on their security cameras, like putting the leaves in my pocket, because they stopped me at the door after I made my purchase. You know, after I gave them my money, because they wanted me to pay first. They stopped me at the door and they're like, "We're gonna need you to empty your pockets." And I'm like, I'm pissing myself at that point because I'm like, "What did I do?" I'm mad about it now, but at the time I was having a full-blown panic attack. And I emptied my pockets of the leaves, and you could just kind of see the look on the woman's face. She's like, "Shit." But they still took me to the back, took my picture, and I am trespassed, supposedly from every location in the United States, but we'll see about that.
Right.
It's fine. I'd much rather not give my business to Hobby Lobby, so.
Yeah, me neither.
That's a fun one. Anyways.
I can't believe dubstep is what you'd listen to while reading.
It was like, okay, it wasn't what I listened to during general reading, but like if we had reading time in class, I just popped my Monster Cat in, and I'm like, reading my science book.
I'm so jealous that you were able to have like music and stuff.
I know. I was so lucky. My brother's even luckier. Like because he has Asperger's. He on his 504. It's like he can have, like it's written into his thing.
Oh, how
because he has sensory issues. So to be able to block it out like that. Yeah, he's totally allowed to do that during appropriate times. He's not just listening to music whenever. But yeah, no, he's.
I find that so awesome.
Yeah,
that
he's
the accommodations
so blessed.
are
I wish they gave that much of a fuck about me when I was in high school.
Yeah, they didn't either with me.
Nope, just kind of chew you up and spit you out. But we've all been there, and that's, like I said, one of the reasons I stopped reading was because school just forced it on me, and it wasn't fun anymore.
Exactly. If you don't
we
read...
dug so deep into it, like it was like, what was the meaning of like the sunset on page 2 for 5 seconds? Like, oh my god,
it's just a sunset.
I get it. I get that's what we're supposed to be doing, but it was so in depth. Like it just pulled. You're just like, I can't just enjoy the book. I'm just pulling it apart.
Right.
I'm being forced to pull it apart, so that's fun.
And not every author is, there's no secret meaning behind everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes a door's a door.
Sometimes a door's a door, dude. They're like, the door is, the mirror represents his, I don't know, urge to come out as gay. No, they don't.
Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan Hansen.
That's a book, by the way.
Huh? Was it a book first?
I want to assume it was a musical first.
I figured it was.
But
no.
yes, there is a book version of it.
Interesting.
Knox owns it.
My sister owns it too. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. It's really cool. Fuck you, Evan Hansen. Piece of shit. Sorry, that's a very strong opinion. What he did was wrong.
There was a book that I read an insert for. It was for the reading of our, okay, so like down here, I think they call it the Ames testing or something. It's different for everyone. It's like the thing that they grade you on to be able to pass high school.
I've opted out of that shit.
I also did not have to technically pass it because I was in special ed. So
yes, you were my special ed wife.
Very special. I'm a very special boy. But in little insert, it was like, oh, read this and then answer questions. And it was like,
oh, I hate this shit.
12 pages.
12 pages of questions.
It was from a book called The Giver, and it was super interesting. And I never did get around to reading it. I couldn't find it. You would think it'd be in school because a lot of it is like, The Giver is one of those that is like something that most people end up reading because it's like a required. But
no, I was required to read a of Mice and Men, Fahrenheit 451, Lord of the Flies. Those are the ones I remember. Barely. Oh, there was one. No, that was a short. That was like a snippet we read. It was something about during the Holocaust. But it was just like a snippet. Boy in striped pajamas? Is that what I'm thinking of? Wasn't that?
Yes.
We only read like a piece of it though.
That was me with The Giver, but that was because it was on a test.
Yes.
And I never did get to read it because it just, again, it wasn't in anywhere, whatever.
I hope I got that right. That's just what came to mind.
Yeah, I think that's.
I sure hope so. I don't want to be made fun of in the comments.
If they make fun of you, I will.
They make fun. They'll make fun of me. I don't know what I'm talking about. And both of us have smoked a doobie, as Officer Shaw would say.
You got smoking a doobie.
You got smoking a doobie. It's really funny when police officers or anybody don't know what they're talking about when they're talking about drugs. I had no idea. It was really funny. Anyways, gosh, we are 27 minutes in.
Well, we're not doing bad.
We're not doing bad. You got any other book topics, or do you want to cut it short? It doesn't have to be a forever podcast.
It could be a forever.
It could be a forever podcast.
Oh, I've got a question, even though I know you never. Have you ever been to a midnight book release?
No, that is beyond my time.
Oh, it was.
Oh, you did it for Harry Potter, didn't you?
Did.
You did it for Harry Potter because you're old.
I am old.
You're a grandmother.
I was alive when the first Harry Potter.
They
book
say
came
they're
out.
over sitting in a wheelchair. It's really funny, just because it's convenient desk chair.
And it's also good whenever my legs don't work.
Yeah, yes, but also convenient desk chair. It is comfy.
It
Anyways,
is super comfy. The midnight book things was always really, really fun. It was really, really fun.
Speaking of Harry Potter, I'm going to go ahead and throw a spoiler alert if you've never read Harry Potter. It was actually... Shut up. Yes. I got spoiled by Game Grumps by they have a bit called Spoiler Owl or Spoiler Eagle or something like that. It's like, Snape killed Dumbledore. I'm like, what? So I got spoiled to Harry Potter. I should have. It was before my Harry Potter time, but it was Snape kills Dumbledore, and I'm like, ah!
Oh my god. Okay,
it was so funny.
What was the hardest book character's death for you? If there was any books you had death in.
Spotted Leaf. Spotted Leaf was hard. She died, right? Yeah, I remember crying. I did not cry over Blue Star, which I won a bet over, actually. I won't get into that, but I did win a bet over not crying over Blue Star's death. I didn't read a lot of books like that. I was a very happy child. I was a very happy child. So death. Gosh.
Look at Danny over here in their happy childhood.
Shut up!
And not crying over books because a character died that you, resonated with.
Yeah, it's all just Warrior Cat stuff.
Hey,
those are the only books I read with tragedy. Oh, no. No, you know when I did cry? Fucking the end. Nope, the end of Mice and Men.
Warriors is the only thing that I've ever,
The end of Mice and Men.
Oh, yeah, where he has to shoot the dude.
He has to shoot the dude. It's like, think about the bunnies. Think about the rabbits. He's talking about the rabbits. He puts a bullet in his best friend's back of his head. Spoiler alert. If you've never read Mice and Men.
Someone's getting to the. They're just listening to this podcast.
They're just listening to this podcast. And they're like, what? Whoa!
They're like, what?
The same shit that.
They're reading the actual book. They're 30 pages away from the ending, assuming that it's about 30 pages away.
Right.
And they're like, what do you mean? He dies.
What do you mean he dies? That was very. Yeah, if you're reading the book, it's pretty obvious. Pretty early on that something's gonna go downhill.
Listen,
for
I'm
that
so
guy.
sorry. I just had to point. I make fun of you just for a second. I've never read any books of tragedies. Reads about the Holocaust.
I didn't read that by choice. It was like in
on
our
you.
literature book, and it was just a snippet of it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And they're like, oh, if you read this passage, and then we learn about some of the grammar shit over here, even though you just read about the Holocaust.
Grammar Nazis.
Oh no.
I had to see Internet Veteran over here.
Oh,
I had to bring that up because
Oh no.
that was a thing. Do you remember that a little bit?
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't talk to people on the internet then though. I was just minding my business. looking at YouTube videos.
I sure did talk to people during that time.
Right, it's nuts. Gosh, books. What other books did I have?
Okay, fan fiction absolutely counts as books.
It does, yes. Then that means roleplay counts as writing.
Yes, because I actually had a teacher of mine like a few years back. I was picking up my meds, and she was like, "Oh my God, puppy! Like I haven't seen you forever. Are you still writing those books with your friends?"
Yes.
And I'm like, "Yeah." Like,
That's really funny, actually. No, if you were a fan fiction author, that counts. I mean, short stories, dude. That's a thing.
yeah, it is.
Totally
It's
a thing. That
I
absolutely
mean, there's
counts.
a lot of books who have been, fan fictions that have been turned into books. Infamously, 50 Shades. But there's other.
I just continue. Continue. Nothing happened. Continue. You don't say shit. Continue.
The impulse. The impulse was
Shut up.
strong.
Shut up, puppy.
Shut up, Mimsy.
Oh my God! I don't think we can milk this topic anymore. We're at 32 minutes. How do you,
Alright.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to cut that part out.
I might leave it because I know they don't know. They don't know. We'll see what we can do. Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us today on our book rambles. If you have any good books, recommend them down in the comments.
I have a
Because,
book for you.
a book for me?
Yes.
What's that book?
The fucking Bible.
Mm.
Just kidding.
I can't hold it; it'll burn. Anyways, thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you so much
watching,
for
listening. However, we decide to upload this, but have a good day. Call your mom. Tell somebody you love them.
Okay, let
All
me
right.
get the Ouija board. Bye.
Bye.